Hi friends, I hope everyone is doing well. Happy Monday. So for science this week, we're going to be moving on to the Earth's surface. Now, some of it this week may be a little bit of a review because we did talk about a little bit of it back in the beginning of the year for social studies, but then other parts we're going to look a little closer at for science, okay? Today, we're really just going to be looking at vocabulary for the week. I think that this is a good approach for us because some of these words can be a little tricky, and when I read them in the textbook, we'll already have an idea of them, and when you see them on your Nearpods and your assignments, you'll have a better idea of them also. So remember, today's vocabulary, we're going to try our best to learn the words. If we don't, it's still okay because we will keep talking about them all week. Okay, so let's get started. So we have the Earth's surface. Vocabulary. All right, so let's get started. So our first word, and this one should be reviewed because we did landforms back in September, even in the beginning when we started doing some homeschooling, and we talked about landforms in social studies. Now there are certain landforms we're going to look at for science, but overall, we need to remember what a landform is. So this is going to be a little review for us. So a landform, the shape of the land. So if you look at all these examples I have here, they all look different. They're different shapes. They have different features, meaning there's different characteristics about it. You know, we're going to talk about them, but there's a few landforms that we're really going to focus on for science. And we'll learn about them in the next slide. But let's review for landforms. We have a volcano. That's actually going to be one that we talk about for science. We have hills, and look how they look different from the volcano. They're a little similar, but they have differences also. We have our island, which is very different than the volcano and the hills. I don't even see any water on those, but I see waters here. We have a canyon, which also has water, but still different from the island. We have a desert, which we've talked about. That one's very hot and dry with sand, no water, or very, very, very little water. We have an ocean. So that's a body of water. So landforms, remember, are not just land, but body of waters also. River, a jungle, mountains. So mountains I want you to look at because they look very similar to a volcano. We'll talk about that in the next one. Marshes, a waterfall, and plains. Now I don't want to focus too much on all of these today because we're just learning about the vocab, but these are all different examples of landforms. They all are different though. You know, if we look around our Earth, and we did this in social studies, we can see all different types of landform. That's the beauty of our Earth. We have all differences, different landforms, different shapes of the land, different types of land. All different. It's not just one big same form of land. But landform, the shape of the land. Then we're going to be talking about volcanoes this week. It's exciting stuff. Volcanoes are pretty interesting, friends. So a volcano is a mountain with an opening that rocks, ashes, and lava can come out. So if we look, this is actually a mountain, and it's got an opening, and inside the volcano are the rocks, the ashes, and the lava. This is the lava, and it comes out and it falls down. We're going to spend a whole day on volcanoes. But for now, you just need to know that a volcano is a mountain with an opening that rocks, ashes, and lava can come out. Then we're going to talk about this week also earthquakes. And an earthquake is simply when the ground shakes. There's going to be more to it, and we're going to dive into how earthquakes happen, why they happen. But for now, for the sake of today and going into this week, I just want you to know that an earthquake is when the ground shakes. Okay, friends? So we don't really have earthquakes here where we live, but in other parts of our country even, they get really bad. And sometimes, you know, buildings are destroyed and streets are ruined, and we're going to look at pictures of different examples from earthquakes. But for right now, it's when you feel the earth shaking. Okay, friends? And then we have a fault. So the fault has to do with the earthquake. It's a crack in the top layer of the earth. So I'm going to move me so you can see. So if you look here, here's a picture of our Earth, and if we were to cut it open, which we can't, but scientists have studied this, you have the crust, which is the outer layer, the top layer, and that's where the fault is. It's a crack in the top layer of the Earth, the crust. But below the crust, then you have the mantle, the outer core, and the inner core. But for the sake of earthquakes and faults, we're just looking at the crust, the top layer. And if you come down here, when an earthquake occurs, friends, this is the fault. The fault is here, but these are rocks or plates. An earthquake happens when those rocks shift. If the rocks stay still and they're fine and the fault is there, but it's, the crack is still there, but nothing has moved, they're just like this, then there's no earthquake. It's when they shift and they move, and when they move, they cause the whole ground to shake. Okay, again, we're going to spend a whole day on earthquakes, so we'll talk more about faults and where we see earthquakes, what they can do. Again, also like a volcano, they can be very dangerous. So we'll look at all that. But for this week, we're really just looking, for today, we're just looking at some of the vocabulary words. So landform, the shape of the land. Volcano, a mountain with an opening that rocks, ashes, and lava can come out. Earthquake, when the ground shakes. And fault, a crack in the top layer of the Earth. All right, friends? So good job. You'll have a Nearpod complete some activities on vocab, and have a great day.